Good evening and welcome to Raj Yoga Center. And our warm welcome as well to those who are here for the first time today. And thanks for joining us. And today is the Monday talk under Inspired Living events that we organize from time and again. And today we will be discussing on a very relevant topic, the art of letting go. We see many issues of mental health nowadays, and partly the reason is that we haven't been able to let go of that which we need to, and we are unable to also hold on to that which we need to. So today we will understand the techniques behind how can I actually learn and master this art of letting go. And to speak to us about this topic, we have a very special and our one of our very beloved students of Raj Yoga Center, Brother Natesh, and he himself has been practicing meditation over 20 years. And today he is very creative with us. And also to make the whole theory more practical to us, we have a team of Sister Shweta and Sister Suchitra, and I welcome all of you. So please welcome them with a warm clap. And over to Brother Natesh.
I have a big ear, so. God, yeah, that fit in. Good evening, everyone. We extend our warm welcome to you all for taking out this evening. And we have tried to make this topic very innovative. When I gave a search in Google, I found about 1 million videos on this particular topic. So I would want to make your time worthwhile for coming here because we could have one-to-one interaction. And we have also tried with our special sisters who are very much into art, kind of a skit which would give you the relevance to this topic and start off as an icebreaker with a difference. So I would extend my welcome to Shweta and Suchitra, who are the artists. And yeah. You can start. Thank you so much. And it was. So how many of you resonate with that topic? And how many of you resonate with what was the skit that was played? Yeah. And what do you resonate with? Can you share some feelings that you had that you would like to share? Anybody? Letting go feels like cheating. You completely agree with her. So she cheated on her dad. And anybody else? No?
It's tough sometimes to let go because I feel sometimes you want to carry it with yourself so that you get some compassion from people around.
Okay. And so you feel that people become sympathy seekers?
Yeah.
So is that right or wrong? I mean, seeking sympathy from the world which is going through horrific, torrid times. It's not right. So can you explain?
My personal belief
Yeah.
is you should be caring yourself in such a way that people should get inspiration from you, and you shouldn't be seeking the sympathy from the rest of the world. It's fine. I mean, the aim should be like that. It's not the fact that I do the same, I can do the same.
Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just starting the slide. Yeah, sorry. So you're saying that it is wrong to be a sympathy seeker.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else has any different opinion? Any ideas you would like to share?
Like the people consider that you are weak and where you tend to lose confidence, your self-confidence.
But then how do you confide in people? So if you confide in people, is it same as seeking sympathy? Just asking questions.
When you confide, you want to change the situation.
Okay.
That's why speaking to someone else.
Okay. So anybody else who differs or is for the topic? So just make the session a bit more interactive. You could share your ideas, your experiences, anything. It's just an open mic session, you could call it. I only have the mic, but yeah, you can speak. Yes, please.
What the way that I lost my parent, and all I heard is the regret of not being able to do anything. What I wanted to do, and just before that, I was please do it once, and I'm successful. The regret only that I have. I'm not carrying any physical thing. But it's a ever since I lost them, I'm carrying the load of regret that I couldn't do much.
Okay. One of the reasons for selecting this image is, slavery was abolished long time back. We cannot have slavery applicable. But then, are we all slaves to our own thoughts and emotions, or do we go above it? Or do we really feel that we are not slaves? Any idea? So many a times we are not empowered by our thoughts and feelings. We are actually enslaved by our own emotions and our own feelings of regret, of guilt. And today, we will not be able to delve into a huge session because it's just 45 minutes left. So we will be giving you techniques and tricks which I have learned from Raj Yoga Center. and which you can apply in your daily life and see whether it makes a difference. And it has certainly made a difference in my life, which I think will help you bring about a change in your life. Okay. So the art of letting go. One of the most important things that I have really learned is, can you get papers, A4 size papers? Yeah, and some pens. I don't think the mic is working. Oh, now it's working. Oh, wonderful. It was downwards. Okay, yeah. So we are going to do a small exercise. All of you can write in any language you want. It's a letter to yourself, but I'll tell you the secret. The letter is writing to your future self. So 1 year from now, 2 years from now, or 5 years from now. So you should be able to write a letter stating that, hey, dear self, with your name, 1 year from now, I would like to let go of these particular inhibitors which I see in my life. Okay? So it will be a letter which you will preserve for yourself and you will take it home. And after 1 year, you will see whether you can really have lived up to that expectation. So I'll help her distribute. You can just share the papers and the pen. Pick one. So I hope the exercise is clear. I'll give you about 15 minutes, 10 minutes. So you could just write a letter to your future self. 6 months from now, 1 year from now, you decide the timeline when I would like to let go of one particular emotion which is inhibiting me, thought which is inhibiting me, or a relationship which I have not been able to live up to, something which has inhibited you and that you want to let go of. Because, who are we most responsible for? Can we have an answer? Ourselves? Oh, wonderful. Everybody agrees? So then this would be a letter to yourself so that you can address your particular inhibitions. 10 minutes, your time starts now. And please do write the date and your name and don't copy because your inhibitions are personal to yourself. So, yeah. The exercise is basically write a letter to your future self, stating that I would like to overcome this one inhibition or emotion or a relationship which has been bothering me, something that has been stopping my growth 1 year from now, so that you can cross check and check after 1 year. This is a letter to yourself, to your future self. It would be great if you could address it as dear, your name, and then it's like writing a letter to yourself. How many of you find it difficult? In the age of ChatGPT and yeah. The ChatGPT cannot solve is your internal problems. And it can give you answers to everything, but it cannot understand you. And that's why we might still need humans. There's still some very studious people writing, so we'll give them a couple of minutes more. So how was the experience? People who have finished, and how was the experience? No experience? So anybody would like to share? I don't want to know your letter because it's to your future self, but did that introspection happen? Like, what do I need to really overcome to become a Superman wearing cape? Anybody would like to share the experience that you felt? Was it like a journey?
What where I forget that
Okay.
very little.
Oh, fantastic. Anybody else? But how was the journey? Like, did you feel that you had a lot of emotion that I had to overcome or something that was really blocking me? Many of them are nodding, but nobody's sharing. And you would like to just share your experience. Yeah? No? Okay. So I tried this experiment with myself, and because my dad recently passed away a couple of years back, and there was a lot of things which impacts you, and you feel like you rightly said you haven't done enough because you cannot do enough for your parents, because there is nothing called enough. And it was, uh, when you start to earn money or when you start to grow in whatever field you're in, you feel something is pulling you down because you have not done enough for your parents, a kind of regret, a kind of resentment which you live with. And it becomes very difficult. So we then start to lean towards spirituality and towards the steps that Raj Yoga Center suggests. And that helps you overcome and expand your boundaries. So we are not an institution which only teaches you spirituality. We start with the basics of meditation, where we enable to introspect like these, to understand myself better. So at Raj Yoga, we take out time for ourselves. Because when we take out time for others, it's very easy because we feel that we are helping. We feel we are contributing. And what needs to be done for us goes under the carpet. And then when things become difficult, we are not able to handle those situations. So let me break down why do we need to let go? And what do you think do we need to let go? If I could just throw this question out, what is it that we need to let go? Let go of the past, the bad memories of the past, emotions, the negative emotions and feelings. Anybody else? Baggage. Yeah, there's a lot of baggage. Anybody else? Okay. So let's start and we will go along and you could ask me questions because I came up with a framework which I have understood from Raj Yoga Center. It is not only the past that we need to let go. It's quite thing that we always feel that the past is what is hurting us, but a lot of things are hurting us. When I just did introspection, I came across one of the things that I really understood, the art of letting go, to summarize in one line, is shifting your focus. When you shift your focus, you understand what is important and what is not important. So the most important point of the art of letting go is to shift your focus from the negative emotions to the positive emotions, from the baggage to loosening up the baggage, from regret to contentment. It is always kind of shifting your focus. Why is it important to let go? Anybody? Or you feel it's okay? Why is it important to let go? Yeah. To make room for the new experiences. Yes. Anybody else? Room for the new experience? No.
Yourself, be available for the thing that is in front of you.
In front of you. That's a fabulous answer. That is where the entire concept of mindfulness is, because, one of the statistics, if you go about reading in scientific journals, is that 85% of the people with dementia, depression, Alzheimer's is because of multitasking. So there are science which tells that please stop multitasking because you are short-circuiting your brain and your brain cannot handle more than one task. We are not Windows or Macintosh, we are humans. We can only do, to the utmost fulfillment, only one task at a time. It would be best if we focus on one task at a time. And that has been it's in America, it's $1 billion industry where they tell you to focus on only one task at a time. Every motivational speaker just goes about hampering that same thing. And if you listen to them, you'll be shocked as how much of damage we do to our brains, because the brain works in a certain way. Even if we are moving from one task to check a notification on the phone, we are literally short-circuiting our brain's energy and then focusing on something else. It is always better to focus on one task at a time. Do not multitask. Now, let's go a little bit deeper and understand the framework which tells us why we need to let go of certain things. And the starting of the framework is basically we have something called as happiness inhibitor. That is, when we don't let go of our past, when we don't let go of our regrets, resentment, and our bad feelings towards others, which we carry on, we don't express happiness. And one of the reasons why we end up in depression is because we don't let go of our past. Let me ask you a very honest question. Let's say everything is taken over by the artificial intelligence. There are Bill Gates and Steve Jobs who are telling, I mean, not Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos have been laying off people. Microsoft just laid off 15,000 people. So let's say you're jobless. Everything is taken care of by artificial intelligence. How would you spend your day? Anybody? What would you do? The number of COVID cases, the number of divorce cases during COVID when the husband and wives have to live together was shot up by 70%. Why was that? Any answers? Are we trying to be busy to suppress our emotion, or are we trying to be truly busy? Is the question. But what would you really do if you become jobless tomorrow? How would you spend your time? This is something that you need to really think. It's not the scenario of doomsday where jobs would not be there, but what would you do? How would you interact with people? How would you communicate? And what would you communicate? Because all the answers are there in the world. You don't need to even come here. Just type in art of living, heart of letting go, and I found about 700,000 videos on YouTube. So why the interaction is important? Exchange of energy, but it's not happening. Nobody is talking. There's no exchange of energy. Anybody else? Why do you think it is important? Or let's say there is another scenario where you've been bestowed and won a lottery of 1 million dirhams. Okay. Now what would you do? You don't want to work. What would you do? Hawaii, Honolulu, and yeah, please. Like? What's stopping you now? What's stopping you now? Time constraints. Okay. That means you work and you're okay. Yeah. Anybody else? See, when you participate, you have the energy flowing, and I can learn something from you. It's not that I am guru. I'm just learning and sharing what I've learned from Raj Yoga. So just be forthcoming and just share whatever you feel. There's nothing wrong. So one of the things that I have experienced is in the happiness inhibitor, like I said, when my dad passed away, it was the resentment and the regret of not doing anything for him, which reflects in my behavior towards others. So I went into a shell. I would not want to talk to people. I would not want to communicate. And that became a problem for me. And my friends and my family, they definitely worked, and I could come out of it. But it's very important that we address the issue of the past. I'll tell you one more very interesting statistic, which I always do. It's again in scientific journals, you can Google. Our mind, our brain is built in such a way, the structure of the brain. We are not built for happiness. That is why when we are left in isolation, we brood over the past. Right? Okay? So just listen to the fact that our brain is not built for happiness. So why do we seek happiness? Why do we seek happiness? Happiness comes when we try to create something new, like when we try to create a new energy, when we try to create a new bond of a relation, when we try to learn a new art like dancing, that gives you happiness. So the brain doesn't automatically become happy. The brain says, please be creative to make me happy. Otherwise, I'll be going back to the past. So the first and the most important thing to understand is to overcome your happiness inhibitor is to start a new passion. dancing, cooking, learning a new language, building new relations, going and meeting people, learning a new talent. Like I started learning finance. So learning a new talent, there is so much you can learn and there is so much you can do. It's limitless. 20 years before, if somebody, yeah, please. See, I have not done research with them, but what I mean by creation is expressing creativity in a different way, and that sparks new connections in your brains. It would be that they've been with alcohol. It could be that they've had a miserable relationship. I have not done research, but generally the trend is that your mind needs something called as a flow. So you need to flow, and your thoughts need to flow from the resentment, from the negative emotions towards positivity, towards building new bonds and new connections. And that is basically what will keep your brain happy, and eventually it'll keep you happy. But yes, if you again brood back to the past and if you don't let go of the other things that I'm coming to, then you would go back into the shell again. Now, the second thing is emotional suppression. And this is why the divorce cases during COVID multiplied, because of emotional suppression. We are not busy. We are making ourselves busy, doing things which have become mundane, doing things which have become very boring. We need to challenge our brains. We need to create new bondings. Because when you are emotionally suppressed, when you don't express yourself to people, you are hurting internally and you are losing a lot of your internal energy. Again, another biggest cause for divorce, sadness, depression, and mental disorders. Yeah.
What is that determine that being happy is a conscious choice to be made?
You being happy is not a conscious choice that you make. You being happy is a response of your brain to the task that you do. So let's say you give your brain challenges, your brain becomes happy. But if you do the same thing over and over again, your brain becomes bored. Like, for example, cooking. Now, you are an expert in cooking. You don't need to challenge your brain. You know what to put in, but your mind is constantly thinking about something that is hurting you. So your concentration is not in the present. You can only be present now, at the moment, like he said, is when you're challenging something to your brain. And the response for that from your brain would be happiness. Yeah, it is subconscious. Yeah, it is because the brain is not built for that. It just goes back to the past because it's an experience that you've had. You're not building new connections, so it just goes back to the past. So it's always better to keep it moving forward and keep it challenging so that the brain can move forward. Otherwise, the connections will go back to the past. No, it's not suppressing. It is moving forward, building new connections. That is how you would move forward. Because if you sit, it's not forgetting. It is basically trying to create a new flow. And then if you are having an issue, an emotional issue, you address it. You speak to the person or you speak to the relationship that you're having, that this is an emotional issue that I have, but I'm moving forward. I'm trying to do something different. So you have to address it and move forward. Otherwise, the brain will keep going back to the past. Yeah. So then then how do you take care of it? Suppress it? So, yeah, no, but if you're saying if you cannot always take care of it, you have to, no? You have to do something so that your mind is your baby. You have to take care of it. So you have to address it. Or you suppress it. But then suppression will come back. That's what I'm saying. So it's like a spring. You keep pressing. I know it's good, but then you have to release it. You have to let go. And the best way of letting go is talking. Like I have been. No, you're not understanding. To keep your mind happy, you have to do something creative. But if you have emotional suppression, you have to address it. This is a different level. This is a different level. Yeah, you will be feeling sad, but you will be feeling sad. You have to address it. Why am I feeling sad? If you're feeling sad because of a person, address it. Go talk to him. If you can't, move forward with something. Otherwise, if you sit in isolation, you are going to go back and go into depression. That is what is going to happen.
But moving forward without
No, but address it. But you said you don't want to address it. Then you have to go forward.
someone else.
Yeah, do that. Do whatever is the best for. Because see, I wouldn't be able to explain all the situations, but generally what I have done is address it. Speak to the person. I mean, today's generation, you can address it directly. I mean, you get WhatsApp number on the internet. You get email addresses on the internet. You can call them. You can do whatever. So I don't think you cannot address it. But if you're saying, I don't want to address it, do something else. Yeah.
What should we do?
Like, see, I have had a failed business. Okay, I was cheated badly by my partners for over about 100,000 dirhams. I went and spoke to them. I cannot keep resentment. No, I cannot give you the exact same business. I cannot give you the exact, but I'm saying there is no situation that you cannot talk. I mean, you're trying to then avoid it. And if you're trying to avoid it, you're suppressing it. So if you want to overcome suppression, then try to do something creative. But then it will come back and bite you. But you're choosing not to address it, then it's your choice that you're making. But that is your choice. If it doesn't bite you, it's good, but it will bite you.
When I want to someone else.
Yeah.
But then that scenario, you weren't in contact with that person. Person would say the person who the person, for example.
Yeah.
You could address that situation with them, but you would carry a guilt, right?
Yeah.
That is that you get instruct to one again and again. There are cases where I can address things on my own from my perspective.
But if the person has passed away, you have to overcome the positive emotions out of it. Like you cannot do anything about it, but that will be 1 in a million case, right? Or 10 in a million case, or 10 in 1,000 cases, like somebody has passed away. But just move on, then you have to move on. Then you can't do anything. I mean, that's like an impossible case where I cannot tell you anything. Really, yeah. So then you can hand it over to God. So that was the last stage I'm coming to. So yeah, but that is one of the things that I don't know if we can still do, but then we still have to address some things which are addressable at the moment. So, and then we have the growth inhibitors, which is beliefs and ideas, which I was coming to. Like we have certain closed ideologies and systems within us, which we believe will not work. It may have worked so far, but things are changing. So we may have to look at growth inhibitors, things which we feel will not work in the future. We have to let go. We have to think about newer things that are coming forward, and we have to learn from them. You have to, like the ChatGPT or the artificial intelligence, and you're in relationships. There are newer things where you would want to connect with them over a talk, over a dialogue, or use technology to connect with people. And that would be the best way to use. And a lot of religious bigotry that we possess within us, a lot of spiritual beliefs that we possess within us, which we feel are inhibiting my growth, we should be capable of letting go. It is one of the things which stops us from growing. So like you rightly said, if somebody's passed away, I cannot address that issue. I did not know that you're talking about somebody who's passed away, but then you can hand it over to God. You can hand it over to a spiritual guru or a leader and talk to him that this is what has happened. Offload your problems somewhere so that you get a solution and you move forward. So that is where is, again, creating a bond, creating a new relation with somebody and telling them, this is what I've gone through. Because any situation, there will be 200 people in the world who would have been through the exact same situation that you're going through. So sharing and connecting with people, you would be able to understand how they have coped and how they have moved on. And that would be giving you an example of how you can move forward. And the last one is spiritual inhibition. You know, a lot of people are also trapped in materialistic belongings and things which they feel that they have achieved. One of the inhibitors is in your spiritual growth is the ego that we hold on, that I am everything. It is one of the things that we need to understand, that we need to overcome. So broadly, to summarize, we are usually stuck in the happiness inhibitor. We feel that we need to address the past, but there are a lot of others things which are inhibiting our growth as well. And the most important thing where she addressed is the spiritual inhibition, where once you try and adopt a way of spirituality, you would realize that you can make a more deeper connection and find a reason for your resentment or guilt. And that would be that only you can address if the other person is not available. Like, for example, for my dad, I wasn't there too much for him. So, but then I had to address it on my own, you know, because I couldn't go back and tell him I'm sorry, I was absent. But then I tried to meditate and I tried to see all the good things that I did for him. And I found out that he was finally happy, because you have to connect at a soul level and try and understand how have I served. So that is something that needs more deeper introspection. Any other questions? Is, anything you would like to ask? Sorry? I used to, you know, it's a very interesting question. I used to. It was for about a year. He passed in 2022. Yeah. So for a year, I had grief that I had not done enough for him. And then I overcame that. Yes. No, now it's past. Yeah, now it's past. Yeah, now it's past. Yeah. See, it's also important that the person also needs to move on, because if you hold on to them, you are trying to pull them back to you. It's also an art and a mechanism where you set them free by talking to them in the way that you can connect and tell them and set them free. Otherwise, it's just going to be extremely painful. And that is one of the things. There's a very beautiful book written by a doctor who had come back from cancer. Even Dr. Raymond Moody has written quite wonderful books on post-death scenarios, like afterlives and back into the body. So he's written wonderful things where people want to apologize, but the soul wants to leave the body. And because you are wanting to express your grief and sorrow, they are being held back and they want freedom. So it's something that you try to address, and it's very complicated, but it is something that you need to go and find deep within yourself and address it by, you know, spiritually letting them go and connecting them at a soul level and talking to them. That is what has helped me let him go. One of the 5 steps which has helped me in my journey towards the art of letting go, the first one is forgiveness. And seeking forgiveness is more important, is what I feel. Again, it's not written anywhere, but it's what I feel, that you try and seek forgiveness from people rather than forgiving people. You can forgive people, but then it would become that you're bigger than them, because a slight ego comes in. You would want to forgive somebody unless they have done something really, very, very, very wrong. One of the techniques that we learn in Raj Yoga Center is meditation of forgiveness. Try to forgive and seek forgiveness. This has helped me a lot with my dad. So it's not something that I can share, but it's something that I used to one-on-one connect with him and seek his forgiveness, that I'm sorry. Yeah. And once you have sought forgiveness, you have to accept certain situations which are beyond your control. If you feel that the situation is beyond your control, start to accept it. Do what you can, but if it is beyond your control, just let it go. You just have to let it go. And realignment, this took a lot of time for me. Realignment, the business cheating and my dad's death, where you try to identify a purpose. One of the things which I mentioned about happiness is your alignment with your purpose. In case your purpose is not aligned with your value systems and your actions, you will constantly be unhappy. So one of the reasons why we constantly meditate is to identify what are my values, what is my purpose, and are they aligned with my actions. Once this is aligned, you really find no reason to have a very unhappy life. One of the steps towards experiencing spirituality is detachment, where we start to detach ourselves from our own materialistic belongings and our own ego. That is the first level towards spirituality, is what is the most important thing when you want to practice meditation, is to detach yourself. You don't own anything. You don't own anything that you have. It is just basically been gifted to you by the God or divine. That would give you humility, and that would again realign and repurpose yourself. The last one is to surrender. There are some things which, if you cannot solve, just surrender. And that has helped me a lot. So just surrender and hand it over to God or whoever you feel has helped you. So that is one of these are the 5 techniques on how we can master the art of letting go. It's just a summary because we're running out of time and it's too short to cover such a beautiful topic. Any other questions that you would like to ask, or anything that you would like to discuss? Acceptance is basically you start to accept that I have done something wrong. No, the surrender is when you cannot change something, you give it to God so that He can take care of the situation, because you cannot do much about it. That is one of the situations where sister was trapped and she was feeling that pain of not being able to communicate with somebody. Just surrender to God is what. No, I'm just saying, even if it is hypothetical, if it were to happen, you can do this, is what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a difference. Acceptance is within yourself. You accept that I am in this situation. Many people don't even accept because that is one of the stages of sorrow, denial. So you accept it, that solves most of your problems. And then the last stage is surrender. That is, if you're not able to solve the problem yourself, surrender, hand it over, because this is what you could do and not beyond. Any other questions? So can you distribute those cards? No, I've just made a card. This is the last bit of it. And yeah, each one will have a situation. No, not here. There are less cards. No. Yeah. Yeah, you will have a situation on the card. You just have to write what value you would use, what positive value you would use, or how would you react to this particular situation in a negative or a positive way. And so I will then tell you that the paper is a secret paper, so you could do something with that. What is the situation that you have? Insult or criticism, what would be the emotion that will come to you when somebody insults you or somebody criticizes you? Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. Actually, I just printed because these are actually special papers. These are called as seed papers. And they have seeds of basil. So you can plant it into the soil, put it a little bit deep, put soil on top of it, water it, and hopefully the tree grows. Yeah. Because you're changing it with a positive attitude. Yeah. So you can write, and then you could possibly sow the seeds of your virtue. But you have to reply that with a virtue. Insult or criticism with a virtue. Not like I'm going to get angry. That doesn't. So I really appreciate and thank you all for coming. And if there is any question, I'm available after class for 10 minutes. And thank you so much. Please do visit Raj Yoga Center regularly. We have multiple sessions like these held every month. And we hope to see you soon.